Something's changed and fans can't stop noticing. Sam Heughan, the man who brought Jamie Fraser to life for almost a decade, looks completely different as he steps into Outlander Season 8. His new look has set the fandom on fire, and not just because he looks older, sharper, or rougher. There's something deeper happening here. It's a transformation that feels symbolic. Almost like Jamie Fraser himself is preparing for the final fight of his life. But what does this change really mean? Why did the creators decide to shift his entire appearance at this point in the story? Let's take a closer look at the clues behind Sam's shocking new transformation, and how it might reveal where Jamie's journey is heading next. Asterisk. When the first behind-the-scenes images from Outlander Season 8 started to appear online, fans were stunned. Gone was the younger romantic Jamie Fraser with the flowing hair and soft expression. In his place stood a version of Jamie that felt tougher, weathered, and deeply changed. Sam Heughan's new look immediately became one of the most talked-about topics in the Outlander community. Some fans called it Jamie's warrior era, while others said it looked like the face of a man who's seen too many battles and heartbreaks at first glance. You can tell how different it feels. His hair is shorter, not completely trimmed down, but enough to signal a shift in time or tone. The curls that once framed his face now carry a rougher, more mature look. His beard appears fuller, giving him a rugged presence that instantly draws attention. It's not just about looking older. It's about embodying the kind of strength that comes from years of struggle. This Jamie looks like he's been through storms, both literal and emotional. The wardrobe also plays a huge part in this transformation. The deep, rich colors of his outfits, dark browns, faded greens, and muted blues, give him a grounded, almost soldier-like energy. Unlike the earlier seasons, where Jamie's style often reflected his Scottish pride or romantic heart, this version looks like a man ready for war. The fabric seems thicker, the layers heavier, almost as if every piece of clothing has a story to tell. It's as though the costume designers wanted to remind us that Jamie's battles are no longer just emotional or romantic. They're physical, or political, and historical. Then there's his expression. Sam's eyes, always a powerful storytelling tool, now carry a weight that fans instantly recognized. Gone is the spark of youthful rebellion we saw in the early seasons. Instead, there's a quiet strength, a sense of reflection. This isn't a man running toward destiny. It's a man who's lived through it and now carries the scars. Every wrinkle, every subtle shadow across his face adds to that realism. It's an evolution, not just in looks, but in essence. When compared side by side with older stills from previous seasons, the change becomes even clearer. In Season 1, Jamie's hair was longer, lighter, and symbolic of his free spirit. In Season 3, we saw him with a beard as he aged and endured years apart from Claire. By Seasons 6 and 7, the style became more refined, the look of a man who had found peace, even amidst chaos. But now, in Season 8, there's something different. It feels final. As if every decision, the haircut, the beard, the darker tone was chosen to prepare us emotionally for Jamie's last ride. Social media exploded the moment. New production shots surfaced. On Twitter, fans started sharing side-by-side images, captioning them with comments like Jamie's battle-hardened look hits hard, or he looks like he's ready for his final stand. Reddit. Threads filled with discussions debating whether this transformation hinted at a major time jump in the story or represented a darker chapter for Jamie and Claire. Even casual fans could sense that this wasn't just a stylistic change. It felt like the visual start of an ending, and while Sam himself hasn't given away much about the reason behind this new look, his past interviews might give us clues. He has often said that every physical transformation he takes on for Outlander helps him get into Jamie's mindset for that particular point in his journey. If that's true, then this rugged, hardened Jamie may be carrying more than just the weight of age. He may be burdened with the full cost of everything he's lost, fought for, and protected. There's also a subtle shift in tone within the overall production stills. The lighting around Jamie appears less golden and more muted, the warm glow of earlier seasons replaced with colder, bluish tones. This isn't random. Cinematographers often use lighting to communicate emotional change. The colder palette can signal danger, loss, or the approach of something inevitable. It suggests that the final season won't shy away from the pain and sacrifices that have defined Jamie's life. Another key detail that fans noticed is how Jamie's new look seems to mirror the emotional transformation of Claire as well. In leaked set photos, Claire appears with a more restrained appearance, her once loose curls now tied back more practically, her wardrobe less soft and romantic. Together, they look like a couple who has survived it all. The shared visual tone tells us that both characters are evolving together, no longer defined by passion alone, but by endurance. But what really makes this transformation powerful is how natural it feels for Sam Heughan to embody it. After playing Jamie Fraser for over 10 years, Sam knows how to let the smallest gestures carry huge emotional meaning. The way he walks, the way he looks at Claire, the way he holds himself in scenes, all of it speaks volumes without a single word. The new look gives him even more freedom to explore the darker, quieter sides of Jamie's soul. For longtime fans, this transformation is bittersweet. On one hand, it's thrilling to see Jamie evolving once again, growing older and wiser in front of our eyes. On the other, it's a reminder that Outlander is approaching its end. Every visual cue seems to whisper that we're nearing the final chapter, the conclusion of a love story that has stretched across centuries. Still, what makes Outlander special is how much care the creators put into these details. Sam's transformation isn't just a random styling choice. It's a piece of visual storytelling meant to prepare us emotionally for what's coming next. Whether Jamie is heading toward his most heroic moment or his most heartbreaking one, his look already tells part of that story, a story of strength, sacrifice, and legacy. And as fans continue to analyze every frame and speculate on what it means, one thing is certain: this is not the same Jamie Fraser we met years ago. This is a version of Jamie shaped by love, loss, and time, a man standing at the edge of history, ready to face his fate. Asterisk, there's something powerful about how Outlander uses visual change to tell emotional stories. Sam Heughan's new look for Jamie Fraser isn't just a surface-level makeover. It's storytelling in disguise. Every strand of hair, every scar, every line on his face feels like a chapter written in silence. This transformation carries deep symbolism that connects to Jamie's past, his struggles, and the uncertain path ahead. When fans first noticed the sharper features, shorter hair, and darker tone, the immediate reaction was that Jamie simply looked older. But Outlander has never been about simple appearances. Everything you see on screen, from the fabric of a costume to the shadow falling across a character's face, is designed to mirror the heart of the story. Jamie's transformation is not just about aging, it's about evolution. It's the visual proof that the man who once fought for his freedom in Scotland has now become something more, a symbol of resilience, loss, and undying love. If you think back to earlier seasons, Jamie's appearance reflected who he was emotionally at that time. In Season 1, his long hair, youthful energy, and bright colors represented hope and rebellion. He was a man full of life, love, and dreams. The fearless Highlander whose courage captured Claire's heart. As the seasons progressed, we watched his look shift with his circumstances. In Season 3, after being separated from Claire for 20 years, his beard grew heavy and his eyes carried the pain of loss. He looked like a man who had lived through war and heartbreak. By Season 5 and 6, Jamie's image softened again as he settled into a life of stability at Fraser's Ridge. But now, as Season 8 begins production, the look tells us something different entirely. It feels like the calm before the storm, or maybe the calm after it. His shorter hair and heavier beard don't just age him. They harden him. They make him look like someone who has stopped running from fate. This visual maturity could symbolize Jamie's acceptance of the inevitable, that every man, no matter how brave, must one day face the weight of his choices. There's also a symbolic connection to the historical backdrop of Outlander Season 8. The American Revolutionary War looms larger than ever, and Jamie is no longer just a man caught between time and love. He's a soldier caught between nations, loyalty, and destiny. His look now reflects that struggle, The darker tones of his clothing could symbolize the chaos of war and the moral grayness of the choices he must make. The lighter tones from his early years are gone, replaced with colors that blend into the earth, the soil of a new nation, one he's helping to build. Even if it costs him everything. Hair, in particular, has always been an important symbol for Jamie Fraser. In Scottish culture, hair often represents pride, identity, and strength. When his hair was long, it symbolized freedom and rebellion. Now, the shorter cut could mean discipline and acceptance, the kind of control that only comes after losing everything worth fighting for. Then there's the beard, fuller, darker, and more defined than in past seasons. It gives Jamie a patriarchal presence, the kind of look that suggests leadership and legacy. He's no longer the romantic rebel or the runaway prisoner. He's become the protector of generations, a figure of wisdom who carries history in his eyes. In many ways, this transformation mirrors the transition from man to myth. By the time Outlander reaches its final scenes, Jamie Fraser may no longer be just a character, he may become a legend, one whose name lives on in stories and memory. The symbolism extends even further when you consider the dynamic between Jamie and Claire. Throughout the series, the two have often mirrored each other visually and emotionally. When Jamie's look darkens, Claire's usually does too. In the new season, her appearance also seems more grounded, more practical, as if she's moved beyond romance and into survival mode. Together, they form a visual representation of endurance. They're softer, more glamorous looks of the early seasons have faded into something more authentic to people who have truly lived, aged, and suffered together. What makes this transformation so emotionally charged is that it captures the reality of time. Outlander is, at its core, a story about the passage of time and how love survives through it. Seeing Jamie's physical transformation reminds viewers that even the strongest love cannot escape the marks of life. The lines on his face are proof of the battles he's fought, the losses he's endured, and the love he's never let go of. In that way, Sam Heughan's new look becomes a living timeline. Every scar, every wrinkle, every shadow telling the audience where Jamie has been and what he's become, from a cinematic point of view. This transformation also helps communicate themes that words never could. Outlander's visual storytelling has always relied on atmosphere at Foggy Hills, candlelit rooms and soft light filtering through trees. In this new season, Jamie's darker tone and rougher look might help the audience feel the emotional gravity of what's to come. The beauty of the Highlands has been replaced by the raw, rugged landscapes of the New World. The camera might linger longer on Jamie's face now, allowing us to feel his weariness and resolve. There's also a symbolic contrast between Jamie's inner peace and the world around him. While his new look might make him appear hardened, it also suggests clarity. A man who has lived through wars, imprisonment, and loss no longer hides behind appearances. This version of Jamie feels stripped down to his essence. Nothing to prove, nothing to hide, only truth. The simplicity of his look might be a metaphor for emotional honesty. The man who once carried guilt and conflict has finally found acceptance, even if it means facing his final test. Some fans have even speculated that his transformation could represent the blurring of time itself. Throughout Outlander, time travel has always played a central role. Claire's movement through centuries often came with visual changes that reflected her emotional journey. Now, Jamie's shift might signal that time is catching up to him, that the story is coming full circle. His look carries echoes of the man he once was, combined with the maturity of who he's become. It's almost as if past and present versions of Jamie have merged into one, thematically. This transformation also highlights the idea of legacy. Jamie has always been driven by a desire to protect his family, his land, and his name. His new, solemn appearance might suggest that he's thinking more about what he'll leave behind than what lies ahead. The stoic expression, the weight in his eyes, they could all represent the awareness that every story must end. But what matters most is what remains after. It's also worth noting how Outlander often uses visual parallels to foreshadow future events. The last time Jamie underwent a major visual transformation was before a life-changing event, after the Battle of Culloden, after his imprisonment, and after his separation from Claire. So when we see him changing again in Season 8, it could be a subtle warning that another turning point is coming. Perhaps this is the version of Jamie who must face his greatest sacrifice, one that will test everything he's ever believed in, for viewers. This symbolic transformation deepens our connection to him. We've watched Jamie grow from a young Highlander into a husband, a father, and now possibly a historical figure of legend. His new look serves as a visual farewell, one that reminds us that even though the series may be ending, the spirit of Jamie Fraser will live on. In essence, Sam Heughan's transformation for Outlander Season 8 isn't about vanity or aesthetics. It's a carefully crafted message woven into the fabric of the story. It's the embodiment of endurance, wisdom, and emotional truth. This look tells us that Jamie Fraser's journey has come full circle, from a man of passion to a man of purpose. It's visual poetry, a living symbol of love that has survived time itself. So when you see Sam Heughan's new look, the shorter hair, the darker tones, the hardened expression, don't just see a new version of Jamie. See the story it's telling. See the years of heartbreak and triumph written across his face. Because in Outlander, every transformation means something. In this one, it might just mean that Jamie Fraser's most defining chapter is about to begin. Asterisk. Behind every powerful transformation lies a story that begins off camera. Sam Heughan's new look for Outlander Season 8 didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was a carefully designed choice born from months of preparation, discussion, and creative intention. To truly understand the depth of this transformation, we have to look beyond the screen into the words, ideas, and emotions that Sam himself has shared about becoming Jamie Fraser one final time, for years. Sam has said that every season of Outlander demands something new from him, physically, emotionally, and mentally. And with Season 8 confirmed as the show's last, this demand feels heavier than ever. Sam isn't just acting anymore. He's closing a chapter that has defined an entire decade of his life. The transformation in his look, the shorter hair, the sharper jawline, the more aged. Resilient aura reflects the way he approached this final chapter with precision and care. In recent interviews, Sam spoke about how returning to set for the final season felt emotional but empowering. He mentioned that he wanted to portray Jamie as someone weathered by time, but not broken by it. Those words perfectly explain the visual shift we're seeing. This is not a man defeated by life. This is a man carrying his life with him like a badge of honor. Every wrinkle, every gray strand, every shadow beneath his eyes is a storytelling choice, an extension of the narrative. According to crew members, the conversations about Jamie's new look began long before filming even started. Costume designer Trisha Bigger and the makeup team reportedly worked closely with Sam to develop a look that would symbolize Jamie's final evolution. They wanted to balance realism with emotional impact. He had to look older, yes, but also stronger. They studied how time and war would have changed a man living in 18th century America, how his hair might have thinned, how his skin might have toughened under the sun, and how his expressions would carry the exhaustion of years spent. Surviving revolution and loss, Sam's input in this process was deeply personal. In one behind-the-scenes segment released after Season 7, he mentioned that he likes to have a say in Jamie's wardrobe and appearance, because it helps him step into the man's skin. His final transformation was no different. Reports from the set suggest that Sam collaborated with the creative team to design a version of Jamie that would feel like a culmination not just of his journey, but of everything the audience has experienced through him. There's also a quiet poetry in how Sam approaches his role. He's often said that Jamie is a man of contrasts, a warrior with a poet's soul, a fighter who leads with his heart. That duality is what has made Jamie Fraser one of television's most enduring characters. For Season 8, Sam wanted that duality to be visible, even in his look. The beard slightly more rugged suggests the warrior. The eyes, still soft beneath the roughness, reflect the poet. It's as if Sam wanted fans to see that Jamie hasn't changed completely, he's just carrying both sides of himself more openly now. behind the camera. The tone on set reportedly felt different this time. There was a quiet awareness among the cast and crew that they were filming the end of something monumental. Sam was often seen arriving early, spending extra time in costume fittings, and discussing the emotional beats of each scene with director Jamie Payne. According to insiders, he was determined to ensure that Jamie's final portrayal would be as authentic as possible. "We owe it to the fans and to the characters," he reportedly said during one rehearsal, "to give them the most honest ending we can." That honesty extends into his physical preparation as well. Sam has always been known for his commitment to physical fitness, but for Season 8, he adjusted his training to reflect Jamie's age and experience. Instead of maintaining the same youthful physique from the early seasons, he chose to lean into a more natural look, strong but realistic. Like a man who's lived a life of hard labor and war. His movements are said to be slower, more deliberate, his posture more weighted. Everything about him now speaks of a man who's been through decades of physical strain, yet still carries himself with dignity. In one fan Q&A earlier this year, Sam revealed a small but fascinating detail, that Jamie's wardrobe now includes subtle signs of wear, mended seams, faded fabric, and patches that tell their own story. "We wanted his clothes to look lived in," Sam said. "Jamie's the kind of man who would repair his jacket instead of replacing it." That statement alone captures the emotional truth behind his look. This is a man who holds on to what matters, whether it's his coat, his family, or his love for Claire. Even the choice of hair length was something Sam discussed deeply with the creative team. During a behind-the-scenes podcast, he mentioned how each haircut through the series reflected a specific emotional phase for Jamie. Long hair for freedom, shorter hair for discipline, a beard for loss, clean-shaven for renewal. So when fans saw him with a new cut for Season 8, the symbolic meaning was obvious to him. "It's a man coming to terms with his years," he said softly. "It's Jamie letting go of the young soldier he once was." But while much of the look is steeped in symbolism, Sam also wanted it to feel grounded and human. He spoke about wanting Jamie to show visible signs of aging, not in a way that made him weak, but real. He didn't want to hide behind makeup or lighting tricks. Jamie's lived. "He's earned every mark on his face," he explained in one interview. This commitment to realism is what separates Outlander from other period dramas. Its willingness to show the passage of time honestly, even when it's not flattering. The production team also worked closely with Sam to balance the emotional tone of his final season. Director Jamie Payne described the atmosphere on set as bittersweet but deeply respectful. He said that Sam often stayed in character between takes, especially during emotional scenes with Diana Gabaldon. The connection between them, after all these years, has become second nature. "There were moments where no dialogue was needed," Payne said. Sam's expression said everything. You could see Jamie's entire life in his eyes. Another interesting aspect of this transformation lies in Sam's growing influence behind the scenes. Over the years, he's become more than just an actor. He's a creative partner. He understands Jamie so deeply that the writers often consult him on how certain emotional beats should play out. In interviews, producer Matthew B. Roberts mentioned that Sam has a rare emotional insight into Jamie's psyche. For Season 8, Sam reportedly suggested subtle ways to show Jamie's internal struggle visually through posture, gesture, or costume instead of dialogue. Sam's dedication to authenticity is also extended to how he prepared emotionally for Jamie's potential farewell. In one podcast, he hinted that filming some of Jamie's later scenes left him emotionally drained. "It's strange," he said, "because you're saying goodbye to a character, but also to a part of yourself." He described walking off set after one particular scene and needing a moment alone to process it. "It felt like closing a book I've been reading for 10 years. His co-star Diana Gabaldon shared similar sentiments, saying that Sam's performance in the final season feels richer, deeper, and more human than ever before. "You can tell he's put his whole heart into it," she said. "It's not about looking perfect, it's about showing the truth of who Jamie is now. And that truth, according to Sam, is about endurance and love." During a panel earlier this year, he said something that resonated deeply with fans. Jamie's strength was never in his sword. it was always in his heart. That statement feels like the key to understanding his new look. It's not about power or youth anymore. It's about carrying the weight of love, loss, and legacy with quiet dignity. The more we hear from Sam, the clearer it becomes that this transformation isn't just about aesthetics. It's about closure. It's his way of saying goodbye not only to the fans, but to Jamie himself. Every design decision, every wardrobe change, every expression has been shaped by the emotional gravity of ending something so meaningful. Behind the scenes, this level of dedication has inspired the entire team. Crew members have described the final season as a love letter to the characters and the fans who followed them. And at the heart of it all stands Sam Heughan, a man who has grown alongside his character, ready to give Jamie Fraser the farewell he deserves. So when viewers see Sam's new look on screen, they're not just seeing an updated version of Jamie Fraser, they're witnessing the result of 10 years of passion, reflection, and artistry. It's the culmination of everything Sam has poured into this role, both on and off camera. His transformation is more than visual. It's emotional, personal, and deeply human. And as filming wraps and the final chapter draws near, one thing is certain. Sam Heughan's new look isn't just the end of Jamie's journey, it's the final love letter from an actor who gave his heart to a character that became timeless. Asterisk. The moment the first behind-the-scenes photos of Sam Heughan's new look surfaced, the Outlander fandom erupted with theories. Twitter threads, Reddit discussions, Facebook groups, every corner of the internet lit up with speculation. Fans weren't just reacting to how different Jamie Fraser looked. They were searching for meaning behind every subtle change. Why did his hair look shorter? Why did the costume palette suddenly darken? Why did his expression seem heavier, wiser, almost burdened? For many viewers, these weren't just aesthetic updates, they were clues. Clues that could hint at what's coming for Jamie Fraser in Outlander Season 8, the show's grand finale. To understand why fans are so obsessed with the symbolism of Sam's new look, you have to remember one thing in Outlander: nothing happens by accident. Every hairstyle, costume, and glance between Jamie and Claire carries narrative weight. So when the fandom started to dissect his transformation, they weren't just fangirling, they were decoding messages. One of the most popular theories circulating online is that Jamie's new appearance signals a major time jump. The idea here is that Season 8 might not pick up immediately after the events of Season 7. Instead, it could skip forward a few years, possibly even decades, to show Jamie and Claire in the later stages of their lives. The evidence: his noticeably aged look, his shorter silver-streaked hair and deeper wrinkles seem to suggest that time has passed. Some fans believe this will align with events from Diana Gabaldon's upcoming 10th book, in which Jamie and Claire are rumored to be much older, still living on Fraser's Ridge, but facing new emotional challenges as time and war reshape their world. But not all fans believe it's a time jump. Another popular theory argues that Jamie's transformation represents a psychological aging rather than a literal one. According to this view, Jamie's new look symbolizes emotional wear, the toll of everything he's endured. The war, the losses, the burden of leadership, and the constant threat of danger have left invisible scars that now manifest physically. In this interpretation, Jamie hasn't necessarily grown older in years, but in spirit. He's been hardened by history, shaped by pain, and molded into a man who carries every experience in his face. This theory resonates with fans who see Outlander as more than a time travel story. They see it as an emotional odyssey. Then there's the final stand theory, which has captured the imagination of fans everywhere. This one is dramatic and deeply emotional. It suggests that Jamie's darker, more rugged look foreshadows his final battle. With the American Revolution reaching its peak, Jamie Fraser, who has fought in countless wars already, might be heading toward his last one. His new appearance, fans argue, mirrors that sense of finality. The shorter hair and the heavier beard could be signs of practicality, preparation, and grim acceptance. Some even believe that Jamie will meet his fate on the battlefield, sacrificing himself for his family or his country. The idea gained traction when fans noticed how somber the new season's tone appears to be in both the lighting and the costuming. Everything feels more muted, more grounded, So if the show is preparing us for a farewell. A subset of this theory focuses on Jamie's legacy. In this version, Jamie's transformation represents the passing of the torch, the final evolution of a man who's lived through revolutions, rebellions, and heartbreak. The darker, rougher appearance could symbolize him becoming a mythic figure in history, the kind of man whose story will live on even after he's gone. This theory connects to the long-standing mystery surrounding Jamie's ghost in the first episode of Season 1. Fans have speculated for years about why a much older-looking Jamie appeared outside Claire's window in the 1940s. Could this be the season that finally answers that question? Is this older Jamie, the one with the new look, the version who somehow transcends time to watch over Claire even centuries later? The ghost theory is one of the most enduring mysteries in Outlander lore, and Sam's new look has reignited that debate like never before. Some fans are convinced that the show will end by circling back to its very beginning, revealing that the ghost we saw all those years ago is indeed Jamie from the end of his life, revisiting the woman he loved across time. The emotional weight of that idea is staggering. If true, it would mean that Jamie's transformation into an older, more spiritual version of himself isn't just physical, it's metaphysical. He's transcending the boundaries of time and mortality itself.